the horrific pictures that came out from Prime Minister Netanyahu's office, I mean, was that necessary to really sort of as a reminder to people? I mean, again, I know you're not him, of course, and I don't know if you were part of that decision, but why was that important right now?
I think it's an anticipation. The Palestinians have built for themselves a very impressive PR machine that's got even the smartest people fooled. And we've even seen, scenes that they've kind of curated, like people on a stretcher, and then they just roll over and get up and walk away. Not to say that there aren't casualties, real casualties and civilian casualties. And believe me, there's not one mother in Israel that wants to see any child, whether Palestinian or Israeli, hurt. That's not our MO. We don't want to see innocent civilians. They come to get our innocent civilians. We do everything to avoid. We go door to door, endangering our young men, our soldiers, so that we don't flatten a building and kill innocent civilians. That's who we are, and that's who they are.
You're also deputy mayor. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that to the Netanyahu question, I think people didn't really, because we're sensitive about our images, because we believe in the dignity of victims and the dead, I think it was important to show people the carnage, people to understand the scale, because the scenes and the stories, and I don't like to exaggerate about the Holocaust.
No, it's
I'm
horrific.
one of those people who brings the Holocaust into everything. I'm really not. But they are, when you hear the stories of a child hiding in a closet for 14 hours whilst his parents were getting killed and he was mum because he knew that was his life at stake. These are Holocaust stories.
Yeah.
And the kids in a concert being shot in the back. My daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, just went to the funeral of a boy who was in a bunker running away from this party with a bunch of kids, and they started throwing grenades into the bunker. And to save everyone, he started catching the grenades and throwing them back and catching them. And one of the grenades, of course, killed him. But look at the heroism. But these are the stories. These are the cruel stories of a horrible, brutal massacre. And I think that Netanyahu was trying to show the world, these are the people that you want us to make peace with. These are the people you want us to sit and negotiate with, or these are the people you want us to leave alone and not dismantle their infrastructure. These are the monsters. And I think it was important to show that.
I've heard a lot of comparisons, especially early on, to 9/11, and much like you talk about 50 years, since, the last major tragedy there. I know there've been many since. There's been 22 years since 9/11 happened. And in that time, of course, we've learned a lot of lessons about what the US did right and also, did wrong in response to that tragedy on our soil. Are there some of the lessons or I mean, is it a fair comparison, the 9/11? It certainly captures the scope and the surprise nature of the attack.
Yes,
I don't know if it's helpful in terms of framing what comes next.
Well, 9/11 didn't have hostages. It had 3,000 dead. And if we compare the dead that we've had in American proportional numbers, it would have been 26,000 dead.
Sure, of course.
Somebody did the math. And there were no hostages. So this wound is still very much bleeding for us right now because of the hostages. And because that complicates the attack, the retaliation, the dismantlement of that regime, was not just holding our people hostage, it's holding half of their people hostage. Half the people support them and half the people don't. They're miserable. And I feel for those people. You think that it doesn't hurt us to see images of innocent civilians getting affected in war?
It's hard to extricate, isn't it?